In this video, we're going to take a look at the new features included in the Power BI Desktop December 2015 update. This is our last update for this year and is loaded with lots of new capabilities that we hope will be exciting for many of you. These capabilities span from Power BI Desktop to also the Power BI service. So you will see that the update includes lots of new report authoring features, and these features are also available now in the Power BI service for consuming those reports and also for performing some lightweight editing. Before going into details about these new features, we wanted to remind you about the Microsoft Data Insights Summit. I'll show you the website with more information about this conference. This is a conference that we are organizing for March 22nd and March 23rd in Bellevue in Washington State. And if you come, you'll have the opportunity to join hundreds of peers, other leading data analysts, and of course our product teams here in Bellevue in Seattle, Washington. And you'll be able to talk about how you can bring your data to life with Power BI and with Excel. You'll be able to learn lots of valuable new skills, test drive new and latest technologies, and something very special, you'll also be able to schedule one-on-one meetings with our engineering teams. So this will be a really great opportunity for many of you to actually just share with other users, learn from what they're doing, get inspired for how to actually create your new reports using Power BI and Excel, and also interact with the product team. So we definitely encourage you to learn more in this website and register now, because you know, the attendee spots are limited and the availability is filling up really quickly. Back to our list of new features for the December update. This is a summary of the new features. So as you can see, the features span from report authoring capabilities to data modeling and data connectivity. Let's start with the report authoring features. We're making enhancements in the four main areas. The first one is the formatting pane and the ribbon. The first new feature here is the ability to format data labels per different category series. Let's go and take a look at how this looks like inside Power BI Desktop. We're going to go to this existing report, and I'm going to create a new chart, which could be, for instance, a new line chart that includes total sales, and it also will include total number of units per country. So this will basically aggregate the total sales amount for all customers within this country, as well as the let's turn it into a line chart actually, as well as the total number of units. So as you can see now, I have two different measures being displayed in this line chart, and one of them is the quantity and one of them is the total sales. And I can actually go ahead and format them separately. So if I go into the formatting pane and I go into data labels, for instance, I'll be able to turn them on, and now I have this option to show all. When I turn on the show all option, I'm gonna see different drop down menus with formatting options for each of the category series that I had picked. So for instance, I could go and format the quantity, which is the blue one here. I can go ahead and switch that to actually be more like purple, and that would change the actual color of the data legend. I could even change the size, so I'm making them bigger, but note how I'm only modifying the line associated to the quantity. Now if I collapse quantity and I go ahead and select total sales, I could do the same kind of thing here, where I can modify maybe the display units, and I can switch these to millions, let's say, and you see how the display unit changes. I could also modify the text size in here. So lots of formatting options, as you can see, and now we're making them available for customization or fully customizable for each of the category series that are being displayed. The second new feature this month is the ability to change the number of decimal places displayed in visuals. Let's go and take a look. So we're gonna go into page 1, and I'm gonna select this bar chart down here which has total sales by category. Now I can go into the formatting pane, go into the data labels section, and modify the decimal points, the decimal digits that we're gonna be displaying in this chart. So instead of 3, I can switch that to 2, and notice how the number of decimal places changes now when I click away. The next new feature this month is the ability to modify the text size in visuals. So back to our bar chart, you probably noticed this already, but I can actually modify now the size of the data labels. The next new item this month is the ability to lay out visuals accurately within your report canvas. This is actually a combination of 4 different capabilities, such as the alignment, the ability to distribute your visuals uniformly within the canvas and the available space, and also the ability to fully configure the size and the position of your visuals through the formatting pane. So let's go and take a look at all of these features. Back into our report page, you see page 1, I have 5 different charts, and I also have them not really well aligned. You see this top line over here, each of the charts start at a different position relative to the top. So now I can actually control click and select these 3 charts on top, and I can go into the alignment menu, and I have the option to align these to left, center, right, top, middle, or bottom. So for instance, if I align them to the top, they're gonna be automatically aligned here for me. Now the next thing that you notice is how, if you think about these 3 visuals, you see that there's more space between total sales and sales by product than there is between sales by product and total sales by city. We can fix that up and ensure that there's the exact same amount of space between them by using the distribute menu over here. And I can distribute things either horizontally to ensure that there's the same separation, horizontal separation between them, or vertically. In this case, I'm going to use horizontally. And you see how these basically ensure that there's the same space between these 2 guys here on the left and these 2 guys here on the right. Now what else can we do? For instance, I could select total sales and now select total sales by category and align these to the left. And finally, I could select total sales by category and select total sales by year and category and align them to the top. And you see how with the combination of all of these options, I can actually get to where my data shows really nicely aligned in this report. In addition to the UI-based gestures, we also give you full flexibility into the setting the size and position for your visualizations. So if you select one of your visuals, you can go into the formatting pane and go to the general section, and here you can directly assign the X and Y position as well as the width and height of each of your visualizations in the canvas. The next feature, the number 5th feature this month, is the ability to set styles across multiple visuals by using the Format Painter, something that many of you might have gotten accustomed to by using other Microsoft applications like PowerPoint or even Word. So we're introducing this new tool in Power BI Desktop because we think it will save you a lot of time when you try to configure multiple visuals with the same set of formatting options. Let's see how you can use Format Painter to fully customize and reuse styles across your different visualizations. You can select an existing visual that has the desired style. In this case, I have a set of configurations or formatting options defined in this gauge visual, such as for instance the text size for the title. I also have defined the background color and the alignment for the title, and also the background color for the entire visual. I can simply select this chart and click the Format Painter. If I click into the total sales by category chart, you'll see how the format gets reused and reapplied to this other visual. It's that easy to actually make sure that the style is consistent across all of my visuals. Now, when you actually apply Format Painter, we will ensure that there's a certain set of formatting options that get copied, basically the ones that are supported across these visuals and also that makes sense. So for instance, we recreate all of the background options, we recreate all of the title options except from the actual text, because it wouldn't make sense for us to overwrite the text when you apply the Format Painter. We also duplicate all the data label options except the display units and the number of decimal places, again because we believe that it makes more sense for you to keep the same formatting options for number of decimal places and display units in your target visual than you had originally. We also apply data color options, so basically we copy the default color, and also if you're using the same field to drive colors, we would use or copy the color and value assignments. If you have X and Y axis on your charts, we'll actually copy all of the options apart from the start and the end values. We'll also copy all the formatting options for legends, borders, slicers. If you're using waterfall charts and you're using Format Painter between two waterfall charts, we'll actually also propagate the sentiment colors that you have from the original waterfall chart into the target one. And finally, just keep in mind that if there are options that don't exist in the target visuals, like for instance, if you were to copy the x-axis options from a scatter chart into a column chart, these options will just get dropped whenever they don't make sense for the target visual. So just be aware of that. If you miss some of the options, just keep in mind that we'll try to recreate the ones that make sense, but we will not blindly follow everything that was created in the original visualization. The next group of improvements under report authoring are enhancements to specific visualizations. Everything that we saw above were actually improvements to the overall formatting pane capabilities. And actually, I missed one item under formatting pane and ribbon, which is the optimized home ribbon layout. So let me just quickly show that to you. You may have noticed how we added more and more options under visuals this month. So for instance, we added the alignment, the distribute options, and so we started seeing how the width of this ribbon started growing and growing, and we actually wanted to provide a better prioritization of features within this pane. So now you see how we've collapsed some of the options like new meshes and new columns under a single drop down. We've also customized some things like the alignment and distribute menus. They're smaller size, and also the arrange menu is smaller than it used to be. And even now, as you resize your Power BI desktop window, you see how we will start applying additional collapsing of options. Like in this case, we're collapsing now the alignment and distribute options to remove the data the button labels, so that we optimize for the space that's available within your window. You see how we apply additional resizing here for the cut, paste, and Format Painter options on the left. And this is done so that we optimize for all types of lower resolutions that you might be working on while you use Power BI Desktop. On to the next set of improvements. We've made a number of improvements to the existing visualizations, and we've also added some new visualization types. The first improvement that we've done this month is adding a visual cue for the sort state in a table visual. Let's go and take a look at this. So we can turn this total sales by category into a table visual. And let's actually make the font size a little bit bigger. So now if I click into something like total sales, you see how we actually display whether it's been sorted by that field. In this case, it's been sorted in descending. Now if I click again, it's going to sort ascending. Likewise, if I sort by category name, could be sorting either descending or ascending. And we keep that icon to actually indicate which field or which column we're sorting by within the table visual. Hopefully this will improve usability and clarity while you are consuming or configuring a table visual in your reports. The next new feature this month is the ability to have smart tooltips for area and line charts on Hover. So let's actually go back into our page 2 of this report, where we had this line chart. Now if I mouse over any of the points within the vertical line that represents a specific value in the x-axis, you see how I get a tooltip that indicates the value for the two measures being displayed, and also the x-axis value, in this case Germany, the quantity sold in Germany, and the total sales. Before this update, you actually had to mouse over the exact line that was being captured, and then only the value for that line would be displayed. So you see how we're greatly improving those tooltips within this update. The next visual enhancement this month is actually a new type of visualization, which is the stacked area chart. Let's go and take a look at this new type of visualization. You might actually notice that I was already using this type of visual within the first page on my report. Let's actually go and maximize it. So as you can see, the new stacked area chart allows a better representation for how values from multiple categories add up to the total for every given value in the x-axis. So for instance, if I mouse over 1997, you see the breakdown of the total sales by category for that specific year, which by the way looks really nicer now with the smart tooltips that I was talking about. So you can see the breakdown as I mouse over each value. In here in the x-axis, you can see the exact value for each of those product categories. In order to create the visual, you can actually access it through the visualizations pane. Is next to the regular area chart. You have now the stacked area chart. The next new feature this month is the ability to create reference lines for a Cartesian visual. Let's go back and take a look. So let's turn this total sales by category back into a bar chart. Great. So you can now add reference lines to your Cartesian visuals, and you can achieve this through the formatting pane. So if I go into the formatting pane, you'll find this new section for reference line. Once you turn it on, you can assign a specific value. For now, this is only a static value. So for instance, let's say that I would like to say 100,000. And you're gonna see the new line. It doesn't stand out because of the default color, but I'm gonna go and switch this to something that will look much clearer. Let's actually turn our reference line into red. And then you also have multiple options for transparency, so let's make it less transparent. And you can also assign a different style. By default we do dashes, but you could also switch to solid line. And you can also arrange the position of the reference line compared to the actual content being displayed in the visual. By default we show it behind the content of the visual, but you could put it in front to actually make it stand out even more. And in addition to this, you could also specify whether to use a data label or not. So in this case, because I displayed 100,000, that's what it's showing up there. It's probably not using the right style by default, but you can actually assign a different color, so you can make it consistent with the actual reference line color, and also control the alignment and also the number of decimal digits to show for that specific data label. The last item under enhancements to visualizations this month is just improvements to data labels for pie charts and scatter charts. So we basically optimize labels in these two types of visuals so that they make better use of the available space within the visual, so that it displays as much of a value as possible within the given space. The next group of improvements to report authoring this month is the integration with R visuals. If you remember from last month, we integrated the ability to run R scripts to retrieve data using Power BI Desktop. We added this as a new connector. This month we're going a step beyond that with R integration, and we're actually adding a new preview feature that will allow you to create visuals based on R scripts within your reports. You can basically create a new visual and then specify the exact R script that you would like that visual to to reference and to evaluate, and it will give you the ability to start using visualizations from R within Power BI Desktop and seamlessly combine them with all of the other visualizations, either out-of-the-box visualizations provided in Power BI Desktop or any of the custom visuals that we provide through the Power BI Custom Visuals Gallery. Let's go and take a look at how to create your custom or your own R visuals within Power BI Desktop. I have this existing report with some tables already loaded into the data model. The first thing you'll need to do is go into the File menu, Options, and then within the Options dialog, go into the Preview Features tab, and here you'll need to enable the third option, to use an R script to plot the visual in the canvas. You could also check the R scripting tab, which will basically specify which is the location of the R environment installed on your machine. That would be the main requirement for you to use this feature, is to have an R environment properly configured within your machine. There's a link here that points you to instructions for how to install R. So if you still haven't get started with R, this is a great opportunity for you to install and start playing with it. Once you've enabled this preview feature, you're going to see this new icon for R script visual within the visualizations pane. When you click it, it will insert a new visual within your current page in the report, and it will give you this split view between the report canvas, so you can actually preview the output from your R visual evaluation, and then in the bottom half you can see the R script editor. In addition to that, you also have within the visualizations and fill well pane, in the values area, you'll have the ability to drag values or fields from within your data model. So I can go into Cars 2 table and start selecting fields. And notice how these fields are being added into the values section of the field well. And at the same time, the R script editor window starts inserting values within the gray area. So this is basically the context. We are setting the context based on your selection in the fields pane and fields well. And now you can paste or type your R script code here. In my case, I'm actually gonna paste it. So I'm gonna copy it from this notepad, and basically what I'm doing here is using the correlation plot library from R, and I'm gonna be passing the data set that I specified up here as the context with all of those fields that I selected in the fields pane. And then I'm gonna be making a function call. Let's actually comment out that one. I'm going to be passing this function call to the correlation plot library to actually visualize this data using the given method with color and the additional options for the display. After I'm happy with what I'm providing in my R script, I can click Run, and this will render the visual, the R visual within my report canvas. I can then minimize the window, the script editor window, and then resize my visualization. And then I can just start using my visual, and similarly just use all of the other options like cross filtering capabilities and everything else that I have available for other visuals. In fact, if I select this visual and go into the formatting pane, you'll see how I can start also assigning other properties like the title, the background color, the size and position that we just talked about a little bit earlier in this video. And everything that you would expect to be able to do within a Power BI desktop visual, you can do now on top of a R visual within Power BI. Now you could of course restore the script editor window and then continue modifying your R script later. So for instance, I could then use this second function call instead of the first one, and that will give me a different type of visualization, R visualization displayed here with a different set of options to actually display this correlation plot. Great, so that was very exciting, seeing the next level of integration between Power BI Desktop and R. We know that this feature has been widely requested by many of you, not just the R visuals integration, but also the ability to import data by running an R script, which we released last month. And we hope that you'll continue sending us feedback on these two features and anything else that you'd like to see down the road in terms of new scripting and our authoring capabilities within Power BI Desktop. The last improvement within report authoring this month is the ability to automatically suggest and detect table-to-table relationships when you create visuals that involve two or more tables which are not related. We'll give you an example of this. So let's go into this report that I have here. I've imported 3 tables, and just for the sake of demonstrating that I'm not lying, I'm actually going to show you the relationships view. You see how there's these 3 tables and there's no relationship between them already defined. And let's pretend that I don't know that, and I just come back to my report and start dragging fields that in theory should be related. Like for instance, let's drag the total number of hours. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And now let's drag from the company project the project. So now we can see total hours by project. You see that things start looking a little bit odd here when we show the same number of hours by project, but there's cases in which this is actually a legitimate scenario. But definitely when you go in and bring something like the employee name, and let's actually turn this into a bar chart. When you bring something like the employee name and we put this on the legend, you get the following. We tell you basically that the visual can't be displayed, and when you click fix this, we'll actually tell you that there's a missing relationship between these fields, and you could either use auto detect, or you could use create relationships to go into the relationships dialog and define relationships manually. In this case, because I'm lazy, I'm just going to click auto detect. And you see how Power BI Desktop runs relationship detection between the tables involved in this visual, and it was able to find these 2 relationships between the 3 tables that were involved. So now when I click close, it will automatically refresh this visual and display the exact result that I was expecting, which is the breakdown of hours by project and employee that work on each of those projects. So now if I go back into the relationships view, you see how there were 2 one-to-many relationships that were created between these 3 tables, and that was all done automatically for me. And it's actually great that the tool was able to automatically warn me and give me a nice suggestion for how to actually leverage these tables in the best possible way. Imagine all of the cases where you're working with complex models and different scenarios where you might be accidentally forgetting those relationships to be defined, and creating something like this without proper suggestions would actually cause you a lot of work in trying to troubleshoot and identify what were the missing pieces within your report that, or within your model, that make the report actually fail and not display the visual in the way that you were expecting. Great, let's move into the next category of improvements this month, which is actually a set of improvements that we've done within the data modeling, specifically within the relationships view. We've added 4 new features that will basically allow you to better display, visualize, and lay out the content within this view. The first one is the zooming slider. Let's go and take a look. We're going to go back into our first report over here. Let's go into the relationships view. So you can now use the zooming slider, see here at the bottom right, and you can zoom in and zoom out of the relationships view. You can also use the fit zoom to screen window. So if I actually go way deep and I don't visualize the entire set of tables, I can click the fit to screen button here on the rightmost element of the status bar to actually make sure that the content fits in the screen given the current resolution and size of my Power BI desktop window. The next element is the reset button. So for instance, if I go ahead and start moving these items to a non-default configuration and then I click the reset button, you see how it actually goes back to the default layout. The last option that we made available, which is actually pretty cool if you let me say that, is that now I can hit the control key and then click and then drag and drop to define a rectangle that basically everything that I leave within this region will be my area of focus for the zoom behavior. So now when I drop the mouse key and the control key, we will actually zoom in so that you get these tables that were tables and relationships within the selected area, get them to be the main focus within the relationships view, so that I can narrow down and start focusing on this specific area of my model. Great. The next category of improvements this month is around data connectivity. The first item in this group is the support for hierarchies within the analysis services multidimensional exploration mode. So if you remember, last month we released the preview version of the live exploration mode for connecting to analysis services multidimensional models. This month we are enhancing this preview feature to also support hierarchies defined within the multidimensional model. So in order to try out this feature, let's go into into a new Power BI desktop window. In order to try out this feature, you're gonna have to turn on analysis services multidimensional live exploration mode, basically the preview feature, within the options dialog. So let's go back and ensure that it's turned on. It will be off by default, so if you have never turned this on, you'll pretty sure will have to go and do this. So it's the second checkbox within the options dialog and the preview features is explore live with SQL Server Analysis Services multidimensional models. Once you've turned it on and click OK, you're going to be able to go into the get data dialog and select SQL Server Analysis Services database, click connect, and in this dialog you're going to be able to specify your server name. You could also specify the database and specify the connection mode. So you could either do import data or explore live. If I do explore live, which is the preview feature capability, I'm going to be able to browse for the specific item that I would like to connect to. So if I select AdventureWorks as my server, I'm going to be able to select one of the cubes, so for instance AdventureWorks, and click OK. So up to this point is the exact same capability that you saw last month as a preview. What we've added this month is the ability to leverage hierarchies within these models. So if I go here on the fields list to, for instance, the geography table or geography table, you're gonna see the hierarchy for geography that will show up country, state, province, city, and postal code within. So if I maximize this view, which defaults to map, you see how we added this drill down and drill up controls just by virtue of having a hierarchy defined as the location. Now if I switch this into something like an area chart or a bar chart, sorry, it would be the same behavior. So let's drag something else here. So we can drag something like sales summary, and we can pick the sales amount. Let's drop that as the value. That was actually not the field that I wanted, sorry. So I wanted to get the sales orders, maybe. Nope. Reseller sales, sorry. So within reseller sales, I can pick reseller sales amount and drop it under value. And this will give me the actual breakdown of total sales by country. But because we've added support for this hierarchy, and we dropped geography here as a hierarchy, we start at the topmost level of the hierarchy, which is the country. But now I can turn on drill down, and now I can click, for instance, on Canada, and single click will take me to the next level of the hierarchy, which is the state province level. So now I can drill down into British Columbia, and I can drill down to the city level. For instance, I can see Vancouver, and if I click Vancouver, I'm gonna get down to the postal code level, which in this case there's only one postal code, but you get the idea. And now I could also go back up to let's say the country level, and if I disable drill down mode, and I click into this other control to drill all the values, or drill all the countries to the next level, I'm going to be able to see the breakdown by state and province across all of these countries. So as you can see, this is full support for all of the drill down capabilities that we shipped a few months ago, is now available for hierarchies within multi-dimensional models in exploration mode. So we know that this feature was extremely very well received by most of you last month, and we're definitely looking forward to your feedback this month about the enhanced support and the added support for hierarchies. The next new feature this month is a new connector for Stripe. So we've added this new connector to allow users to connect to their Stripe accounts. As you already know, as a Stripe customers, Stripe allows businesses to quickly and easily manage online payments. The new connector allows users to create fully customized reports on top of their existing metrics for charges, customers, invoices, and everything else that's available in your Stripe accounts. And it's not just about creating fully customized reports for Stripe, but also the power of being able to combine Stripe data with data from any other connector or data source that's available in Power BI Desktop. This connector can be found under the other category in the Get Data dialog, so let's go and take a look at that. If you go to the Get Data dialog and click Other, you scroll towards the bottom of the list and you're gonna find Stripe. And the other new item that you'll find this month is Smartsheet. This is another new connector, and it will allow you to bring data from your Smartsheet accounts. So this gives you the ability to create reports that include information about your Smartsheet environments. For instance, your workspaces, worksheets, and reports. Who are the top collaborators and creators for your Smartsheet content? Identifying key trends to understand how Smartsheet is being used in your organizations. In addition to creating these reports based on the Smartsheet data, you can also, as I was mentioning earlier for Stripe, you can also combine data from a Smartsheet with data from any other data source available within Power BI Desktop. Another new improvement under data connectivity this month is the ability to enter data. This will actually allow you to paste or enter data yourself. So this was a very frequent customer request, which was that users would like to be able to create their own tables by pasting or typing in manually. So before this update, this was only possible by either creating the table in Excel and then creating a connection against that Excel file, that Excel workbook, or migrating that workbook into Power BI, or you could also just edit the custom formula, basically create custom M or DAX that would actually allow you to recreate the desired data structure and content. So all of these options, of course, as they sound, they are way too complicated for just the simple case of creating a static data or a small table that you could use as a mapping table or something that doesn't really change that often, but it's really something that you need as part of your report to actually correlate data across multiple tables or create additional information that you could then merge with or look up or create a relationship for, and then bring together that content into your reports. So with this update, we're introducing this new enter data option, and I'm going to show you where it is. It's here under the external data group in the ribbon from either the main Power BI Desktop window or the query editor. So everywhere that you have Get Data and Recent Sources, you would see Enter Data next to it. Once you click Enter Data, you get this new dialog, the Create Table dialog, where you'll be able to either type in some content. So let's create something like a very dummy table with fruit and quantity. And I'm gonna say banana 10, apple 5, and then orange 7. So you see how easy it is to actually create content, and you can also do things like copying and pasting. So if for some reason you wanted to copy this row and then paste it down below, you could do Ctrl V over there, and that would duplicate the value. So maybe then you want to tweak it a little bit. In addition to modifying the actual data content within the grid, You could also assign a name for this table, like say fruits, and specify whether you already have headers within your table, like in this case, or if you wanted those headers to be created automatically for you. Now at this point you could either click load or edit, or cancel, of course. Now let's say that I click load. This will load this static table, the fruits table, into your Power BI desktop model, and then you'll be able to start using it within your reports. So there is my fruits table with all of these fields, and as you can see, the quantity field gets by default assigned the whole number. This is because we're actually running type detection based on the content that you provided, and we will do whatever is right for your data. Now, in addition to creating content manually, you could also paste content from the clipboard. So let's go enter data again to create another new table. And let's take a look at this Excel file that I have with a table that has largest cities in America. I can go ahead and select a group of columns here, use Ctrl C, and now come into Power BI Desktop and use Ctrl V, and this will paste the content for me. I can additionally provide the name of this table, let's say cities, specify that it has headers, and now instead of loading directly, I'm actually going to click edit, because this will allow me to perform additional transformations and combination of data with any of the other queries and tables within my query editor environment. So for instance, let's pick the city and country columns and go add a new column. We're gonna merge these two columns into a single column that is using a custom separator that's gonna be comma space, and that's called location. So there I have my new location column. Now if you take a look at the sources step, you would see how we are actually encoding the data here. So you see this blob of data. This is actually the binary encoding using base64 for the underlying data, and it also contains the definition of the column headers, the type, and additional metadata that we include in this formula as part of creating your table. So nothing that you need to worry about and not even touch at all. If you ever need to go back and modify this table, come back to the sources tab and click the gear icon, and you'll be able to modify this table again. So maybe you need to update the year value for Sao Paulo from 2014 to 2015. You can just modify it there and click OK, and this will automatically modify the value in the preview and subsequent steps of your query. Great. So let's go and take a look at the next new feature on the list. We've done a number of improvements to direct query. Basically, we have included full support for all data types of SQL, T-SQL, and SAP HANA, and this results in a positive performance impact while working in direct query mode. Yeah, we think it will greatly improve the performance when working with direct query within either SQL data sources, SQL-based data sources like SQL Server, Azure, and SAP HANA. It will greatly improve that performance and reduce latency for visualizations for you. The next item on the list is the ODBC connector enhancements. So we've improved the ODBC connector with something that was a very common request from many of our customers using this connector, which was about being able to select from a list of available DSNs, either user DSNs or system DSNs, when specifying connection details for ODBC in Power BI Desktop. With this update, we're adding support for this capability. So now if you go into the Get Data dialog and select ODBC, you're going to be able to select from this drop down from any of the available DSNs from your machine. So you could either use an existing DSN and then provide additional connection string options if you had any, or simply just select the DSN and click OK, and we will automatically discover tables from that specific source. Or if you wanted to actually not use an existing DSN but rather use something completely customized, you could select the none option, and then use the connection string field to provide the full connection string details, which is the equivalent to the behavior that we had prior to this update. The last new improvement this month is a set of enhancements to the CSV connector, which basically allows you to specify the column delimiter within the source dialog when you connect to CSV files. So as you may already know, Power BI Desktop will detect the right delimiter, the right column delimiter for you when you connect to CSV, but there might be cases in which you'd like to customize it. So let's go and take a look at how to do that. I can go connect through the Get Data dialogs to a CSV file, and I can pick this largest cities in America file. And as you can see, the original or the initial experience actually does the right detection of the limiters, so there might not be really a need for you to actually go and set this option, but if you ever need to, you can go find it within the query editor dialog. If you go back to the sources tab and select the gear icon, you see now how the delimiter option is available within the source dialog, along with the file origin option or the file path if you ever need to customize that within your reports. Great, that's all that we had for this month. As I said at the beginning of this video, it's another massive update for us, and we hope that you'll enjoy it and that you continue sending us valuable feedback, and also of course that you have a great end of the year and have a good vacation or holidays for those of you taking holidays this time of the year. Many of us will definitely do, but even though we might be taking some time off in the next few weeks, we will definitely have lots of new things coming for you in the January updates, so please stay tuned to upcoming updates in January for Power BI Desktop. Thank you very much for your attention.